Hey everyone, it's Tom here with Bunny Media. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, people have been trying to make money blogging pretty much since the internet started and blogs were a thing. But if you're starting a blog for the very first time, or you've been blogging for a while but can't seem to figure out how to monetize your blog, making money with a blog might seem like a monumental task. But the great news is all of this has already been figured out, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel to figure out how to start a blog and make money. So in this video, I'm going through our 8-step plan on how you can start your own blog and turn it into an income source for yourself. I personally make between $5,000 and $10,000 per month between the blogs I run, and I've only been at it for 3.5 years at this point more seriously, so anyone can do this. I'm a firm believer you don't have to be a blogging expert to make money with a blog, so this video and outline is truly for everyone. But yeah, without further ado, let's hop into our 8-step plan on how you can make money with your blog. All right, so step number 1 in making money with your blog is to pick a blogging niche, and honestly, this is one of the most important steps because you need to know what you're even writing about in the first place when you're starting out. And honestly, I think picking a blog niche, or deciding not to pick a niche rather, is one of the most common mistakes a lot of new bloggers make, and that's for 2 main reasons. The first reason not having a blogging niche is a mistake is that it doesn't really give you that focus, and that's bad for productivity and readers. I mean, if one day you're blogging about fitness, and then you're blogging about recipes, and then you're blogging about technology, it's hard for your readers to want to follow your blog or keep up to date with what you're publishing because they might only be interested in 1 or 2 of the things you're talking about, and they don't really care about the rest of your content. Not having a niche also kind of makes it more difficult for you to get in that rhythm and become an industry expert where, you're blogging about the same topics over and over again, and it kind of becomes a little bit faster for you to write. And the second reason not picking a blogging niche is a mistake, in our opinion, is that it just widens the competition pool by an incredible amount. For example, if you're a lifestyle blogger and you cover several niches like health, fitness, tech, sports, entertainment, you are competing with every single major blog in every niche you touch, which is, millions and millions of websites. In contrast, if you just stick with one niche, or you kind of niche down to maybe a few categories in a wider topic range, you're only competing with blogs in that niche. You're not competing with this massive pool of content on the internet. And really, there's a lot of flexibility here, so you don't have to be scared about picking a blogging niche. You can blog about your job, your hobbies, something you're kind of more specialized in. You might have more knowledge than the average person. And you can also use tools like Google Trend to quickly see if your blogging niche is growing, stable, or declining in interest. So again, you don't have to really overthink this, and you can kind of tweak your blogging niche over time, but our advice is to pick one main topic. I'm a finance blogger, for example, and then to niche down a little bit. So I'm a finance blogger, but I cover the gig economy, passive income, and making money online, and I don't really talk that much about investing. Again, don't overthink it and play to your strengths and interests, but that's step number 1 in how you can make money blogging. And the second step for launching a blog and making money with it is, of course, picking your blogging name. And this is another step that every new blogger has to go through. And really the main tip here is just not to overthink this process and not to let picking a blog name stop you from launching your blog or making you, delay the project by months or even years. Honestly, what you name your blog isn't going to make or break your blog or brand. And this is one thing a lot of people, I think, struggle to kind of accept. Really, your blogging name just needs to be snappy and memorable. You really don't have to overthink things here. And so one trick a lot of bloggers do is they pick one keyword that kind of relates to their niche, and they build that into a 2 or 3 word domain name. So for example, I'm a finance blogger. A lot of people will put wallet in their name, or money, or cash, or hustle, or something like that to kind of give readers that immediate sense, okay, I know what this blog is all about. Our advice is to stick to 2 to 3 words if possible. And again, it doesn't even have to make sense. There's blogs out there like Chasing Foxes is a very popular blog. I know it's about finance and lifestyle stuff, which you would never know by its name. So don't overthink this step. And one useful tool you can use to check if your domain name is available and if those social media handles is available is namechecker.com. So just go to Namechecker. That's going to be, your best way to quickly check if, okay, my domain name I'm thinking of and my social media handles, are they actually available? All right, and step number 3 for making money with a blog is to set up your blog on WordPress. And there's a ton of blogging platforms out there. Some are free, some are paid, some are simple, some are more complex. But the reason we think you should start with WordPress is that ultimately you're going to end up moving to WordPress anyways if you're serious about making money with a blog. And I'm talking about WordPress.org here, not WordPress.com. WordPress.com is a paid version of WordPress, and it kind of restricts you in this little sandbox, whereas WordPress.org is an open source solution where you can run your own self-hosted blog, and it's basically your own corner of the internet. Now, WordPress already powers over 40% of the internet, and this is, again, the go-to solution for bloggers. It's not Shopify, it's not Wix, it's not Squarespace. WordPress is where a lot of the serious bloggers who make money host their sites. And so really there's 3 advantages to WordPress.org that I want to highlight. The first is that you get way more control over your blog. The second is that you get way more control over your design. And the third is that you get immense control over how you choose to monetize your blog once you develop some traffic, which I'll cover in an upcoming step. Now, anyways, this video isn't going to be an in-depth guide on how to set up your WordPress.org blog because there's a ton of guides out there, a lot of blog articles, a lot of YouTube videos, and we have videos coming out in the near future on how you can set up your own WordPress blog. So be sure to subscribe because, some cool blogging content's coming, so you don't want to miss out. But anyways, our recommendation is to start out with a beginner-friendly, affordable blog hosting provider like Bluehost or SiteGround. You need a host to run a self-hosted WordPress.org blog, so both of those hosts are going to be linked down in the description. I personally use SiteGround for all of my beginner blogs, but I know a lot of people who prefer Bluehost, and both are incredibly affordable. You can launch your first blog for under $10 a month. And in often cases, it's like $3, $4, $5 a month. So very, very cheap. You can buy from name.com or other name providers, but it's just simpler when you're first starting a blog to just buy the domain name as you're setting up your host. Now, hosts like SiteGround and Bluehost have a one-click WordPress installer. So once you actually get your hosting plan underway, you just click that one-click WordPress installer and boom, WordPress is now installed and connected to your domain name. And then finally, step number 4 in actually setting up your blog is to just pick a free blogging theme to start with or a paid blogging theme. And really, this is up to you and how much money you want to spend. WordPress has tons of free themes that are perfect for beginner bloggers. You can also buy paid themes. You can look on theme marketplaces like ThemeForest to find some paid themes. They're usually between $50 and $100. Again, there are so many tutorials out there on how to do all of this, and we have tutorials coming as well. And if you're ever confused and this is all too much, you can just pay someone on Fiverr about $150 and they will set up everything for you and get your blog operational. And one quick tip here, guys, don't get thrown off because your blog looks weird. Your blog is going to look unfinished until you have enough content and pages to really make it feel like an actual operational blog. So don't let this stress you out. Don't worry about tech stuff in the beginning. Don't stress too much about design. You'll fix that as you move through this blogging game plan. And really, it's about keeping up your momentum in the beginning and getting those first blog posts published and not stressing too much about all of the technical aspects of this. All right. And step number 4 for how to launch a blog and make money is to start pumping out that content. And honestly, I think this is where the fun begins. I think this is what excites people about starting a blog. They get to put their voice out there on the internet. They get to publish content and see what people think. Now, if you're just a hobby blogger, you can just start writing willy-nilly and publish whatever you want. You don't really have to think twice. But if your goal is to monetize your blog, I think it's very important to have an actual content strategy or an idea of how you can publish content that actually gets you traffic before you invest a lot of time writing articles that are kind of lackluster and not going to deliver results. And so here are some tips I think you should do before you actually start writing that are honestly going to save you an immense amount of time and a lot of headaches. All right. And so the first tip is really just to read some basic SEO guides for bloggers. We're going to have content coming out on this, but there's already a ton of content out there that covers the basics of what is SEO or search engine optimization, how can bloggers leverage SEO to get more traffic for their site, and why this ultimately matters for making more money. So seriously, I recommend reading a few guides. There's lots of good ones out there. You can just Google SEO guide for bloggers or SEO basics for bloggers, and it'll teach you everything you need to know about things like keyword competitions or how to identify winning keywords and topics to write about for your blog. All right. And the second tip would just be to watch a few of our videos. We have videos like the best free keyword research tools that you can watch to kind of find some tools you can use to find winning keywords. We have a Google Keyword Planner tutorial that also goes more in depth about how to use one of the best free keyword research tools around. So once you have a basic grasp of these concepts, what keyword competition is, how to find winning keywords, some of the tools you can use, it's time to actually start writing. And so at the start, I recommend that you spend most of your time writing content that answers one specific question readers in your niche might have. And the reason we recommend writing these kinds of questions that have a specific answer target is that the keywords in this type of category are usually much less competitive than writing review posts or versus posts or massive listicles of content. For example, I'm starting a new travel blog right now, and some of the blog posts I'm writing are things like, can I drink the water in Colombia? Or is Miami safe? A very specific question that readers are asking, and not every blog out there is covering it. So it's much less competitive. Maybe there's less search volume on it, but it's something that a newer blog actually has a chance to rank for. Now, over time, you can branch into these other topics like listicles, how-to guides, maybe a top 10 or top 20, like massive dive into a topic in your niche. But if you start with these very, very competitive posts at the start, it's going to be a bit disheartening because it's probably going to take you much longer to rank than if you stuck with these kind of lower competition, more specific keywords. Now, really, consistency is key here, and you don't have to stress too much because you're going to learn over time what works in your niche and what doesn't and what you can actually rank for. But our recommendation is to get your blog to 30 to 60 blog posts as soon as possible. A new blog is kind of put in the sandbox by Google, and so it takes about 6 months for your blog to really actually get out there and for Google to kind of recognize, okay, this is an active site, it's a bit trustworthy, maybe I'll start ranking some of its content a little bit higher. assuming that content's actually good and authoritative. So that's ultimately why we recommend getting to 30 to 60 posts as fast as possible, because while you're in the sandbox, pump out some content, let it sit for a little bit and just see how Google treats it so you can see what you're doing right in terms of traffic and what type of articles are not really driving traffic. And really one final tip here to keep in mind is just that your content has to be good, has to be high quality. It also means doing competitive research. So once you find a keyword, go through page 1 of Google and see what the competition is writing about. Is there any information they're missing out on? Is there a way for you to rewrite that blog post, but to make it better and to add your own spin? Ultimately, step number 4 in this blogging roadmap for making money is by far the most time intensive, because again, you're just pumping out content, you're focusing on getting your blog up and running, but you can do it right from the start, and that is going to save you so much time and actually let you get traffic, which lets you move into step number 5 in this blogging roadmap, which is monetization. So really step number 5 in making money with your blog, in my opinion, starts to take effect around the 6-month mark of starting your blog. And this is just, a number I've experienced myself and some of my blogging friends have experienced. It's by no means the case for everyone, but like I mentioned, you're going to spend that first 1 to 6 months just pumping out content. Your blog's going to get out of the Google sandbox. You're going to see what kind of content works and what kind of content doesn't. And you're going to slowly build a base of organic traffic. And so the reason we recommend, not stressing about monetization for your first 1 to 6 months, something in that ballpark, is that you're just not going to have enough traffic in the early stages for monetization to really make a difference in your life. I mean, when you only have, let's say, a few hundred page views per month, or maybe have 1,000 or 2,000 page views, it is very difficult to monetize a blog and to make substantial income. And so because of this, your time is better spent pumping out content and growing that traffic base before you kind of nickel and dime your way into maybe making, $5 to $50 a month with your blog. Now, that being said, as your blog starts to grow and maybe you get to 5,000 page views per month or 10,000 page views per month, you can start to think about ways to monetize that traffic. And honestly, that's a very good way to stay motivated, because if you're blogging for months and making no money at all, even making $100 with your blog can be a massive lift to your motivation. Anyways, there are tons of ways you can monetize a blog, but the 2 strategies we recommend for beginner bloggers are actually one of the more simple ones, but they're also very lucrative when done right. And so the first method you can use to monetize your blog is just to add advertisements to your blog. So whenever you visit blogs and you see those pesky ads floating around the screen, those are display ads, and those pay the bloggers who run those blogs every time someone visits and clicks or views those ads. So a lot of beginner bloggers, including myself, will apply for Google AdSense and then add AdSense to their blogs. Now, AdSense is honestly a very, very lackluster advertising network. You're not going to be making hundreds or thousands of dollars per month with Google AdSense as a new blogger with not that much traffic. But the reason I like AdSense is that you're going to need AdSense approval to join some better networks down the line anyways. And again, like I mentioned for the motivational bit, it's kind of nice to, finally see a bit of fruits of your labor, and all of this blogging work you put in is finally making you a bit of money every month. So new bloggers can apply for AdSense, and if you get approved, AdSense walks you through how to set that up on your blog so you start making money. And from there, really, I think the next goal would be to apply to a more premium advertising network. For example, when I was blogging, I started with AdSense, but then I moved to Monumetric. Now, Monumetric requires 10,000 monthly page views, but it increased my blogging revenue 400% compared to when I was on AdSense. Once you're in Monumetrics, you can set your sites even higher, and I'm on Mediavine right now. So Mediavine requires 50,000 monthly sessions to get into. So it's a much, loftier goal to shoot for, but I accomplished that in about 2 years of blogging, and Mediavine now pays me thousands of dollars per month. It is, in my opinion, the best blogging network you can be a part of. And yeah, it's sweet. So there's a lot of ways you can make money with display advertising. And it's kind of one of those snowball effects. You start with AdSense, you move up to Monumetric, then maybe you move up to something like Mediavine and you're making some serious money. And the second way we recommend beginner bloggers monetize their blog is through affiliate marketing. Now, we have a lot of content on this channel, like a complete affiliate marketing guide and a video on our favorite affiliate marketing networks. And affiliate marketing is basically when you promote products or services for other people and you get paid whenever someone converts on the offers you're promoting. So you're kind of like a salesperson for other companies. Now, for beginner bloggers, we recommend joining the Amazon Associates program. And this basically pays you if you refer people to Amazon and they buy products you recommend or buy anything else from Amazon. Now, Amazon affiliates doesn't really pay that much, but it's very beginner friendly because everyone shops on Amazon anyways. And whenever you mention products, there's a good chance you can plug an Amazon affiliate link into your blog. And the second affiliate network we recommend joining is Impact Radius. And this is an affiliate network, meaning it has thousands and thousands of brands you can apply for to become affiliates for. And so what we like about affiliate networks is that there's really something for every niche. So if you're a tech blogger, you can find some tech companies, food bloggers have companies, finance companies are on there. There's a lot of options with affiliate networks that let you find direct partnerships with brands. And so between Amazon Associates, Impact Radius, and adding some kind of display advertising to your blog, you can actually start to make money as a new blogger It's really not that complicated. Again, those are the two strategies we recommend for beginner bloggers because they are straightforward and they are proven to work. But there's a lot of other ways you can monetize your blog in the future that it would kind of be a shame if I didn't mention very quickly. For example, a lot of bloggers make money through sponsored posts. So companies will contact them and say, hey, you want to write about our product or service? We'll pay you if you do. Many bloggers also branch out into selling their own digital or physical products. So there's really a lot of ways you can get creative and monetize your blog, but I recommend leaving these on the back burner until you learn the ropes of blogging and you get your blog off of the ground and you have a healthier base of traffic. Anyway, the takeaway from this point is just to focus on those two main monetization strategies, affiliate marketing and display ads, and to kind of think about getting creative down the line once you learn a bit more about what it takes to run and scale a blog. All right, and step number 6 in how you can start a blog and make money is to begin working on your SEO for your blog. Now, during this stage, I still want to highlight, you're still pumping out content like you were in step 4. Your content's not falling off just because you're now exploring monetization and you're now exploring SEO improvements. Your content has to be coming out consistently. At least a post a week if you can, maybe 2 or 3 if you have more bandwidth, but that's just, kind of the golden rule of blogging. You have to keep the content coming. But once you've been blogging for, 6 months, 8 months, you're starting to make money with it, your traffic's growing, I think it's a good time to start experimenting with how you can make your site better in terms of SEO. And so really the first step here is just to keep reading about search engine optimization because Google's algorithm changes all the time. And there's also a lot of, guides and resources out there that can teach you how to make your website better for users and for search engines. And so there's really a lot of directions you could go here. Maybe you install some WordPress plugins that help with site speed or some plugins that help with image optimization to make images load faster. Maybe you switch to a more lightweight WordPress theme so it loads even faster, it provides a better user experience, and Google and users are happier when they browse your site. And so one other thing you can experiment with is guest posting, and this involves writing blog posts on other blogs that link back to your blog. And so when someone links back to your blog, this is basically a signal for Google to say, hey, this blog is a little bit more authoritative. People are linking to it. It's maybe an industry authority, maybe it's an expert at what it's talking about. And really this is just one of the ways you can kind of get Google to trust you a little bit more and even get readers from that blog you guest posted on to come back to your blog and maybe they subscribe and stick around. And our final recommendation is just to really look at what posts are driving the most traffic for your blog and to do more of that. Oftentimes you find with a new blog, you'll publish a lot of different kinds of content within your niche, and some of it catches and some of it doesn't. And so within this 6 to 8 month time period, that's honestly enough time for you to kind of do an audit of your blog and your content and to say, hey, this stuff really works and Google clearly thinks I'm an authority and they're giving me traffic. And this content hasn't even gotten, 100 page views. No one's reading it. So that's our final tip. Do a content audit once you get to this stage and kind of think about the content that works best for you and the content that doesn't, and do more of what's winning. All right, now step number 7 in how you can make money with a blog is to add in one social media traffic source to your traffic mix. So another common mistake that a lot of bloggers make when trying to make money with their blogs is they just try to be on every platform at once. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, they try to get everywhere so they get as many eyeballs on their blog as possible and they make money. But ultimately what this does is it just stretches you way too thin. You can't do one platform right, so you do a bunch of them wrong. So this is really the reason why we recommend new bloggers focus on organic traffic. It just lets you focus on pumping out content, improving your site, and getting traffic from search engines that's going to potentially come back to your blog for years to come. Social media platforms are more finicky, and so that's why we don't recommend, starting with all of the social media platforms under the sun. But once you start to get some organic traffic to your blog, it's a good idea to diversify your traffic a little bit. So personally for my blog, I post links on Reddit all of the time to get some traffic. And I also have a virtual assistant who handles my Pinterest account. You can also consider creating a YouTube channel for your blog at this point. And YouTube's honestly a great driver of traffic. It just takes longer to get off of the ground. And there's that initial investment of time and potentially resources into making videos for your blog. Now, Instagram is good for some niches like travel or food, but it honestly doesn't do very well for driving traffic back to your blog. So I would be a little bit cautious about using Instagram. Facebook is also very tricky unless you build your own community or page because organic reach on Facebook is just at an all-time low. So it is very hard to actually reach new readers as a new Facebook page. Now, TikTok is very easy to go viral on and very easy to grow, but it's a bit harder to drive traffic from TikTok back to your blog. So TikTok would be something I consider experimenting with, but personally, I use Reddit and Pinterest, like I mentioned. Again, don't overthink it and play to your strengths here. If you're an expert with one platform, use that platform rather than a platform you're completely new to and you have no idea what to do. But ultimately, you should still be focusing mostly on pumping out content and getting organic traffic because this is how you build a long-term sustainable traffic base for your blog that makes you money for years to come. All right, and the 8th and final step for how you can launch a blog and make money with it is to begin scaling your blog. And for a lot of bloggers, this might happen at the 8-month mark or the year mark. For some bloggers, it might happen a year and a half, 2 years in. That's kind of when it happened for me with my blog, This Online World. And really what I mean by scaling is just reinvesting back into your blog to keep the growth coming and to increase your monthly revenue. So there are a couple of ways to do this. And like I mentioned, one of the best ways is just to do more of what works. If you know a certain kind of content type resonates with your readers and gets you a lot of traffic and money from display ads or affiliate income, just do more of that and think about repurposing that content potentially on other channels like YouTube or maybe on social media. We also recommend reinvesting into your blog as you start to make, a couple $100s per month with your blog. And this can actually take on quite a few forms. One method is to save up your money and pay for a redesign, or to maybe buy a better theme and do the redesign yourself. This is what I've done twice with This Online World. And every time I've redesigned my blog, I've made it better for users, I've made it better for Google, and I reap the rewards of that 3 to 6 months down the line. Another thing you can do is just upgrade to a better host. So I normally start with SiteGround for my beginner blogs, but when it reaches about 50,000 page views per month, I upgrade to Big Scoots because they're a faster hosting provider, they're more reliable, and I think they're better for those kind of mid-sized blogs. You can also pay for writing help. So you can find freelance writers on Fiverr and Facebook groups, people in your own network. If you're kind of making decent money with your blog, but now, you're struggling to keep up with actually running the thing, it's not a bad idea to put a bit of that money back into content, because in the long run, content is what keeps your blog going. And our final tip on how you can scale your blog now that you're making money with it is just to focus on diversifying your revenue a bit more. So usually in that 1 to 2 year phase, you're making money with your blog, your traffic's growing. This is where you can start to experiment with those things I mentioned earlier, like sponsored posts, selling your own product, maybe offering coaching or some kind of paid product or service to your readers. The ultimate goal in step 8 is really just to turn your blog into more of a business. So this might be, investing in content, getting new revenue sources, or all of the above. It doesn't really matter as long as you keep, trying new things, making sure your blog is making more money each month and that things are growing. You're going in the right direction and you're doing things right. Anyways, guys, that does it for our 8-step plan on how you can start a blog and make money. I know this might sound a little bit intimidating because this blogging plan really stretches from at least 6 months to probably a year and a half, or even longer. But this is just the reality of blogging. And I think if you like writing and you get excited by the idea of having your own brand and your own online business and, building an audience and readership, blogging is absolutely for you. And again, guys, you really don't have to do everything perfectly out of the gate. You're going to mess up some blog posts. You're going to mess up some tech. Your blog's not going to look pretty when it launches, but if you want to start a blog and make money, it is about consistent effort in the long term. It is not about short-term results. So keep that in mind. Don't get discouraged. And again, there is so much content out there that teaches you how to find success in blogging. We have videos on this channel that also do that. So be sure to subscribe and stick around because there's a lot of blogging content coming your way. Anyways, guys, if you are planning on starting a blog and you're going to make money with it, let us know down in the comments below. Let us know your niche. Let us know what you're thinking. We always love to talk blogging here on the channel. This has been Tom Blake with Bunny Media. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.